Hello, hello, hello. So it's that time. It's time for shisha and it's time for sha. So let's get on with it. So those of you who don't know, it's time for shisha. Obviously, you call it hookah in some countries in the world. And no, I refuse to use that word. And sha, which means it's a cup of tea time. Yes, which can only means it's time for 90 Day Fiancé the other way, episode 10, season 4. And this episode was called Clap with One Hand. Wow. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I never thought I would say this, but I missed Debbie and Usman. Ma Usman? Yes, my name is Miss Iffy. Please welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and click comment below, actually. Yes. Oh my God. This episode, I love the food tracks, the nightlife food tracks that they were showing us from Colombia to Egypt. Absolutely loved it. It was so nice. Made me think. I was like, oh, I love to go to a food market night one. Yeah, it's talking about food. Let's get on with Colombia. We're going to start with Chris and Jamie. Chris and Jamie go shopping for food truck as they would like to start a business. They show us that they were looking into two of the trucks. One of them was filling equipment, and that is the one that they liked. And I believe that it was cost $10,000, something like that. And so obviously she tells Jamie that she has to think about it because this is all her savings that she's got to invest in this business. But also I feel like Chris did not think of a business plan. She thought about this idea with her and Jamie and they running with it without thinking about the cost of the business, having a business plan, which is what you need to start a business, and all that good things. You've got to think about food license, food hygiene certificates. They got to think about budgeting for the cost of the food. Waiters, the chef, even if they're going to do it themselves, they need to think about, because Chris is not 100% in a good health condition. So therefore, how are they going to manage when she cannot get out of bed? Would Jamie step up? Or would Jamie feel neglected and being passed the responsibility of dealing with this by herself? Which I think that's what Jamie's attitude so far has shown me on watching this series. I think Jamie's going to struggle of dealing with Chris's health as well as managing a business, especially a food business requires a lot of time. It's going to require a lot of hard working, and also they need to do a research of really their ideas to just buy this food truck and travel around it in the city, put corner, but they haven't really thought enough about the license. They cannot just park the food truck anywhere they want, and they need a permanent, etc. So we find out that was that scene. Their next scene was Chris packing to go back to Texas, Alabama. She has run out of her medication and she needs more medication, and those medications are not, she cannot get it subscribed in Colombia. I'm sure she can, but not where they are. So, and I don't think these two have done enough research to figure out where else in Colombia can they get those medications or anything like that. So her first point is to go back to the US. And yeah, and obviously Jamie's worried about, her going back to the US and not seeing her. Also, I'm just kind of confused how Chris thought it was okay to move to another country and not do the research of how she can get her medication refilled, or at least should have pre-ordered it and be delivered to her in Colombia. I don't think these two have gave much thought about what her life was going to be like in Colombia. But anyway, that's enough about them. Oh, this two other couple, Johan and Danielle, as you already know, they are just not my favorite. I find them boring. So we see them going back to where they left us last week, which is they still having an argument about her friend. And Johan still got this mindset of, oh, if you go and see your friend, your male friend, your ex-boyfriend, then there's a consequence. And that's about them. They sitting there arguing, and she's talking about, due to my culture, I'm allowed to have my male friends. And he raises a good point. He puts his foot down on this episode. He's like, nope. And he asks her, how would you feel if I went to go out with my ex-girlfriend? Not that I have any ex-girlfriends, friends. I don't have females that I've slept with as friends. But and he's worried about his culture. I think he's worried about what would it look like, manhood. That is it. That's his just point. He's just got this mindset of, oh my God, my wife cannot have a male friend that she slept with because it looks bad on him from his culture perspective and how his family and friends would judge him. And yeah, and that's it. And obviously Danielle's going in about, oh, well, if he thinks he can control my life, he's got a wrong idea about that. As a viewer, I am tired of this couple. I am tired of the same nonsense that they're always going through. And yeah, it's pointless. There's boundaries that they need to set, and it doesn't seem like it. But anyway, enough about them. I just like to flash this couple toilet. Flashing it down the toilet. Let them go through the drain. Like, no. We are now going to go to India. Yes, India. And lovely Jen is back in the land of India, and Rishi is excited. He is cleaning the apartment, her apartment that is set it up, and then here he comes with his flowers to welcome her, and she's still stuck in that news of finding out him going out, communicating with her friends, and him sending a picture of himself. And she wants to have that discussion. That is playing on her mind, and she wants to have that discussion. So they go out for a spa day, and they just sitting down and having conversation. And she asked him, has he been communicating with other women? And he says no. And we all know that's not the truth. And she gets out her picture, because her phone, because she says, look, I know that's not true, and I have the proof. So she goes down and going to get her phone, and TLC kind of left us there hanging once again about this couple. I really liked them in the beginning, but their story is becoming very, very boring. Oh yes, Rishi goes out with his friend, who's also spiritual. He's a spiritual advisor. In their Indian culture, not all Indian culture, because you've got the Muslims and you've got the Buddhists, and then you've got the Sikhs. Got many religions, but I'm not sure, he's not Sikh. I think he's a Hindu. He's definitely not Muslim. This kind of reminds me of Jenny and Samir. So it's very spiritual based, and his spiritual advisor tells him when can he have that conversation with his parents. So his friend really doesn't believe in that these two's star signs and etc. align with each other. So he tells Richie, look, I don't think you two are in line with each other. I think you need to, if you continue in this relationship, it's going to be a fight. And that fight starts with his family, obviously. And Richie says he's willing to do that. So his friend tells him exactly, based on the moon and the sun and whatever that they believe in, those, I'm not a spiritual person, that he tells him when he can tell his parents. So he tells him he's got exactly 1 month. And Richie obviously is worried about that because he gave Jen 4 months, and that 4 months time has run out. She gave him 4 months and said, you have within 4 months to tell your parents. And that 4 months has run out. And now there's an extra month to be added on based on the spiritual advisors. And that's it. Oh, this is the bit. So Richie and his friend go to an Indian strip club. Let's just say it. That's how we see it as we see it in the Western world. They go to a cafe where it's a private, and they're in a private room, and a traditional Indian lady will come over wearing different costumes, and she dance around. According to them, they enjoy the dance, and it's their culture, and not the women. We all know that's not true. No. No. So that's it. This reminds me of it's like North Africans where they have similar clubs, and but the women come and do belly dancing. All the snake around, all that beautiful red costume that she's wearing, and she does that beautiful belly dancing. It was exactly the same, but it was in this was a Bollywood dancing. And that's it about them. Enough. So, let's get on with our beautiful Debbie. Miss Debbie. I missed Miss Debbie. I really enjoyed this episode. When Usman went to take on stage to read his poem, so they have a scene of them, they're back in Morocco, and they go out for a night out, well, in the afternoon, I think it was like around evening time. So they go to this like hipster cafe where a lot of young people hang around who's artistic, and they read poems, they sit down and drink coffee, tea, beer. Yes, there are places in Morocco and North Africa where you can get beer, some cafes, mainly is for touristy license places. Saying that, when we went to Marrakesh the second time, was it the second time, we found locals where all the youngsters hang around. It was like Shoreditch, all very hipsters, and it was happy hour, etc. And the shisha and everything was there. So they find something like that. It was really beautiful. It was a rooftop, and it was a poetry night. He takes her out there, and then she's sitting there, and Debbie's just enjoying that high life. Loves it. All she's missing is her wine or her cafetier, whatever that she drinks. She's sitting there listening to the beautiful poetry, and then it's Usman's time. Oh, do you know what? When he was on a stage, I felt nervous for him. Watching it, I was like, please don't fall apart. Please don't fall apart. I was like this. Oh no. Honestly, really enjoyed it watching him. But yes, he gets up. He has the encouragement to get up on a stage in front of everybody else. He says this beautiful poem that he wrote. It was for his fiancée Debbie, who was there, and Debbie was being like very, very giddy. teenager. Oh, it's so lovely seeing this. Writes about the sun, the sea, how he, my love, my sweetie. And by the end of it, Debbie was like, as soon as he got on stage, she's like, that's so beautiful. I can't even believe Osman is here, telling in front of all these young people that I am his fiance, I am his love. And, you know, he's saying it in public. So all that insecurity of I was feeling is all gone away. He's regaining my trust. Just you wait until you see his family and you get to live with his mum. That's when the fun starts for you, love. Yeah, and that's it. And she says, as he comes on stage, he was like, I was so nervous. Did I do good, my darling? And she's like, oh, I just want my Patron. She's like, I just need a glass of Patron right now. And that's it about them.